Welcome back to Little Pig Barbecue. Today we have a pork butt that we're going to throw out on the Weber kettle with the slow and sear today. This is just a 5-pound pork butt, and it looks pretty good. I'm not going to do much trimming to it, but since this is a smaller one, I am going to trim up some of the fat cap. So I'm just going to take a knife, and I want the fat cap to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. So I'm not actually having to shave off very much of this at all. Now normally whenever I cook a pork butt, I do leave a good chunk of the fat cap on there. It kind of acts as a heat barrier. But I want all of the flavor I can get on this one. So your barbecue rub normally won't stick to the fat. As it renders out, it kind of drips off, and then you lose all of your rub. So that's why I'm going to try to get rid of as much as I can today. So that should be good there. We'll move all that out of the way. So we'll get it flipped over. And I have a piece here that's kind of loose, so I'm going to take that off. All it's going to do is burn. Alright, so that should be good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of oil, and I'm going to coat. We'll do the bottom side first. I'm going to coat the entire cut with a little bit of olive oil. You can use mustard, you can use any other kind of oil. This is just what I chose today. We'll get that rubbed in really good, flip it over and do the other side. And this doesn't impact the flavor in any kind of way. This is just going to act as a binder. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the rub on, and a larger cut of meat can use a heavy dose of salt. So today I'm using Suckle Buster's SPG. This is one of my favorite all-purpose rubs. Really accessible in my area, so it's one of my go-tos. So I'm going to get the bottom side, and you can apply a very liberal coat. Again, a larger cut of meat like this can really handle the salt. And this also has a lot of garlic and pepper flavors in it also, so it goes very well with like brisket and pork butt. And I even use it on steak. Sometimes this is all I use on steaks. So got a good heavy dose of salt on here. Don't forget the sides. It's perfect. One more side to get. Alright, so you got the salt, pepper, garlic on there. Next we're going to go on with your barbecue flavors. So today I'm choosing The Gospel all-purpose rub. This is a Meat Church product. Makes some awesome rubs. I've tried just about every one of them, and I've never found one that I didn't like. So this is for sweet flavor. Got some spices, some garlic, traditional barbecue type flavors. So again, you can go very heavy with this. Larger cut of meat. This is what's going to produce that mahogany bark. It's got paprika in it. Get that patted in really good. This goes really well with ribs also. I've used this AP all-purpose rub with ribs, and it turns out really good, so give that a shot. Okay, so get that patted in really good. I think we got all the sides. Okay. And that should be it on this pork butt. So really easy to do this. There's not a lot to trim. You're not going to rub any of the rub in. You're actually going to pat it in. And then 30 minutes we're going to let this hang out on the counter and let this the rub sweat and kind of penetrate the meat a little bit. You're going to get all those good flavors that way. So in the meantime, I'm going to head out to the grill and get the pit fired up. And again, I'm using the slow and sear on my Weber kettle, and gonna add a little bit of probably cherry, maybe some apple. I have to see what kind of wood I have out in the garage. But other than that, it's a real simple cook. So if this is your first time stopping by, please subscribe to my channel and like the video, and I hope you stick around and watch the rest of it. So we'll get you out at the pit in just a second. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, we're out here at the kettle and should be ready to go now. So you'll see I've got some royal oak charcoal with a couple of chunks of hickory. I went with hickory with this cook, and I've got my probe in here to monitor the temperature of the side the meat is on. So I'm going to put this right in the center over here on this side. And I've also got a probe for the meat to monitor the internal temperature. So we'll get that put in right in the center and hooked up to my thermometer. Alright, so the temperature I'm shooting for in the cooker today is going to be between 250 and 275. That should give me a good bark over here, good smoke flavor. And I'm going to cook the pork butt until it reaches an internal temp of about 160, 165, and then I'm going to get it wrapped in foil to tenderize it. So stick around and we'll see what this looks like in a couple of hours. Alright, it's been about 3 hours. We're going to open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, looks like our charcoal is about half gone. And we've got some really good bark on this. It looks really nice. You see the pretty mahogany color. Still got a lot of moisture. The bark is completely set. Got one more chunk of wood going. Right now the temperature is about 135 in the pork butt. I'm going to give it about another hour and a half. I want that temperature to be about 160 before I wrap it. That should take about an hour and a half. So we're going to bring you back out here and when we pull it and get it put in the wrap. So hang tight. Alright, we got to do this as quick as we can because it started sprinkling a little bit ago. So the pork butt is at 160. So we're going to get it off. And I'm going to put it in some aluminum foil. Now I'm not putting anything in the aluminum foil. This pork butt has plenty of moisture, and we really don't need any more flavor. So get that out of the way. Nothing crazy here. We're just wrapping it up really tight. Okay, that should be good. Now I double layered the foil, so just to kind of help it from, if it tears, it's not going to leak any juice. So then I'm going to put the probe back in. And we look like we're good on charcoal, so not going to add anything. I'm going to get the lid closed back up. Now it's a waiting game. We're just going to wait it out until it's probably around 205, 206. It should be really tender then, and then we'll get it pulled and in the house. So hopefully the rain will die down and we won't have to move the cooker in the garage. So stick around and hope you're enjoying the video. Okay, it's been about 6.5 hours. It took a little longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. So the pork butt internal temperature is reading about 202. So I'm going to go ahead and get it pulled off and get it in the house and let it rest for a little bit. So you'll see the pit temp, I cranked it up to about 300 so it'd cook a little quicker. And the internal is 201 right now. So it'll actually carry over about 5 or 6 degrees, which will put it exactly where I want it. Still have plenty of charcoal left. This thing could have went a little longer, but I'm going to get it in the house and let it rest for about 15-20 minutes before I pull it. If this was a little bit bigger of a cut, then I would let it rest for a little longer, but 15-20 minutes is fine for this. So let's get you inside. Okay, I've had it out of the foil for about 15 minutes. It's rested. We should be able to pull into this and pull it apart for some good pulled pork sandwiches. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the bone, and this is the real test to see if we've done a good job or not. If this bone pulls out really easy, then we know it's going to be good. And it's literally just laying on there like that. So the bark is really good, nice and firm, plenty of moisture. This pan has actually got moisture in the bottom of it, which is going to be awesome when this is all mixed together. So let's just tear into this and see how easy it pulls apart. That's pulling apart really nice. It's still super hot. Man, this is going to turn out really good. So we'll get this pulled apart and probably let it cool off a little bit longer. And I'll bring you back up top here and we'll recap on what we did and give it a try. Okay folks, got it pulled. Really easy recipe. You got to give this a try. So we'll recap on what we did and then we'll try this. So first we got a 5-pound pork butt that we got from the grocery store. Lightly trimmed the fat cap, left about 1/4 of an inch of the fat cap on. Rubbed it down with some oil or a binder. You can use any kind of binder. Hit it with some salt, pepper, garlic, and some barbecue rub. After we got it rubbed down with the barbecue rub, we let it sit out on the counter for about 15-20 minutes. Let the rub kind of penetrate the meat, and you could really see it start to sweat. So while that was doing its thing, we got out at the cooker and got the Weber kettle fired up. Used the slow and sear today with some royal oak charcoal. Threw on a couple of chunks of hickory, and when the temperature was about 250 degrees, we got the pork butt out on the grate and closed it up and did not touch it for about 3.5 to 4 hours. So during that time, it's getting all of the good smoke flavor that we wanted. And when the temperature hit about 160, the bark was formed. I pulled it, got it wrapped up in some aluminum foil, back on the grill for another 2 hours. And that's where it was getting really good and tender. You could really tell when we pulled this that it was super tender. You saw how easy the bone fell out. That's all we did. Whenever we pulled it, we let it rest for about 20 minutes or so, and then just shredded it with a couple of forks. And it couldn't have turned out any easier. This is a perfect recipe for a rainy day like today. So let's get this, take a bite of it. You definitely taste the salt, pepper, garlic, and the flavor of the rub is really strong. Got a nice hickory smoke flavor. Give this recipe a try. Super simple to do. Subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up. And I hope to see you around in my next video. So you all stay safe, stay healthy out there. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. Appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you next time.